This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our weird Zoom meeting, land bank board meeting. I can see there's a couple people on this, but I'm not sure who they are. Quick reminder at the top, just try to remember to mute your mic if you're not talking because the feedback is bad otherwise. But we usually start. Oh, and welcome to our new board members. You guys haven't officially taken your oaths yet, so we're super happy you're here. I guess we'll talk with the board about. We're going to go to executive session at the end of this. To me, it's fine if you join. I'm just Steve. Do you have any input?
Once we go into here, we can make any necessary invites if we want to do that process.
Okay, cool. Sorry. So we usually start with a public comment period. If anybody from the public would like to ask questions or anything, now's the time. Oh, hi. So I'll see if anyone wants to chime in. Okay, I guess we'll skip that. Does everyone have the minutes from last time? We can just scan through quickly. Caitlin, since we didn't have a quorum last month, do we?
I'm sorry, do we what?
Do we have minutes from last month?
There are no minutes from last month.
Okay, because we didn't have a quorum of the board, so we'll skip that. So I guess we'll go right into reports. Hi, Mandy. I'll do executive director report. So obviously very strange times, but things are moving. So we have our 3 new board members. Hello, guys. Glad you could join. We received the grant contract from Enterprise. So for new members, for about the past year, we've been trying to get a grant from the Attorney General's Office of New York for property rehabs. So that finally came through. It's $500,000, which is great. And it's supposed to go toward specific rehab projects. So me and Bill, who I think is on here somewhere, is our housing rehab specialist, and he and I identified 5 properties that we think are sort of the lightest lifts in terms of rehab, and presented scopes of work on those to Enterprise. They liked what we had to say, so they're giving us money, which is terrific. So that contract will be signed tomorrow, and then I think it's an easier process than it has been to start getting those funds. In the meantime, we have, well, we'll get to this, but we have about 700,000 in the bank. So we can definitely get started with some acquisitions and some of the earlier rehab work. Obviously, things are tricky right now in terms of actually doing construction projects. So essentially where we are is we can have one person into the properties at a time. So obviously pace will be a little bit slow, but not impossible. So we can send somebody in to do cleanouts, we can send somebody in to do demo, framing, electric, plumbing. So I don't think we're at a standstill by any means, which is great. And Caitlin, am I missing anything important? I think, okay, I think that's up for me. Finance. Omari, do you want to do this, or do you want me to take a stab?
You can go ahead and take a stab.
Are there any public people who want to speak?
I did announce that. I don't know. I think we're past that. All right. So finance. Hold
Daniel, can I interject?
Yes, please do.
I was late coming in because Kyle and I were having a problem when there was an update on the server with the software.
Okay.
It didn't kick through, so he's actually working on trying to get it. And then there was something else they were doing with the server the other night. So he's still working on it. I told him I needed it so that we could have the information. But you're right, it's around $700,000, but I don't have the exact number because I can't get access to the software at the moment. If he texts me, I can try to run up and get on the other computer and see what I can get for you.
Okay. So it's right around 700,000. The budget that I gave to Enterprise does account for the price of the back taxes for those properties, plus budgets that are specific to those projects. So essentially what they asked me to do is submit a budget that assumes no further funding from our anonymous donor, from conversations that I've heard about between that person and Steve. We can reasonably expect further funding. They're still interested in the project. And so financially, as far as I understand, we're in pretty good shape. But we tried to err on the side of caution with what we told Enterprise, just in case something happens. So just basically what we have in the bank and what we can do with it. So I think that's kind of the finance update. Mandy, do you have any additions? All right then.
No, sorry, I had to find the microphone. No, I'm good.
You're fine. All right. Communications.
Before we move on to communications, I assume the audit report was delivered.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the audit report, was that delivered? And is that sealed and done, Caitlin?
No, they actually came back with more questions, and he did just send me this afternoon the final thing for me to put on letterhead to sign and send back to them.
Okay.
I've been told the ABO is being flexible and reasonable with, so we should be in good shape. Bartek. Communication.
Yeah. Yep. So the communications committee, we discussed two different things that should be coming up in the future. First is a letter to the Common Council, just to clarify our commitment and the current direction of the land bank. And then second is putting together a press release with recent wins of the land bank. And we agreed that this should be a balanced view acknowledging some of the challenges inherent with creating a new organization, but that also, I think we should also kind of clarify, our commitment that we have to the mission of the land bank. We did agree that to wait on both items until the executive director was hired. That just seemed to be more fitting. Also, for the press release, the hiring of the executive director would be more significant news to report. Those were the main items.
Yeah, we also wanted to announce the new board members, right, in that same press release.
Great, thank you. Yeah, let me know if you guys need help drafting anything in here. Oh, acquisition, disposition, kind of went over it, but basically our next step is to start acquiring. So it's been a little bit difficult figuring out how that'll work financially, just because conversations with the anonymous donor that we thought would happen haven't happened. So I think essentially what we're prepared to do is acquire one or two that we're really going to start with construction wise at the price of the back taxes, what everyone has been operating on forever, and hope that we can create a better situation for ourselves moving forward. But because we kind of have to start getting stuff done, and Enterprise is certainly expecting things from us, we really just have to acquire some stuff. So I believe our first acquisition will be 174 Hasbrook. That's the property that the Kingston Design Show House people were, or continue to think they're going to tackle the finished work for us. So we just want to make sure that everything is in good shape for them to come in and do their work. And then I think probably 237 East Union, which is 1950s kind of rambler house that doesn't need a ton of work. So those two I think will be good for us to kind of get our feet wet, start working with these contractors, kind of get going. So, and we'll just keep going from there.
Daniel, can you explain the sequence of events so that I understand it and everyone else understands it? So we haven't really bought these properties yet, so we can't really start working on them, correct? So we need to get past this whole bunch of paperwork that it takes to acquire the properties. And then what you and I have been working on is this application process for the people who are interested in developing the properties. So can you explain that whole sequence?
Yes, sorry, that's a whole separate part. So we have kind of two parallel things going on. One is the rehabs, which is mostly pressure from Enterprise. Typically land banks don't do a lot of rehab work, and I think moving forward we should not be expecting to rehab nearly every house. So on that end of things, essentially we're waiting for environmental surveys, basically to make sure. We assume lead and asbestos on pretty much every structure. The biggest unknown, from my perspective at least, is oil tanks. If there's a major remediation involved, then that will definitely affect the budget of the project and potentially what we would be asking for from the city in terms of compensating us for having to take that on. The other, so we're waiting for that, which Bill has been dealing with a company that does that work. They aren't doing remediations right now unless it's like an emergency, but they can send someone out to assess and figure out if there's, sorry, my washing machine. If there's anything that needs to happen soon, and if there's anything in the ground at all. So that's number one that I want to make sure we know going into closing. And then Caitlin has a list of the properties to do title searches, which we were going to do through Robert Jacobson, who I guess handles title searches for city projects generally. So those are kind of the two pieces of buyer due diligence that I think we should really have in place before we just write a check. Otherwise, the paperwork has been done. Steve and I signed deed like months ago, so everything's ready to go otherwise. And then the other track is kind of what to do with the properties that we aren't planning to do full rehabs on, maybe some stabilization work, but really we're just trying to get back into the hands of the community. So Aneshka and I, mostly Aneshka, have developed a really solid draft of the application, I think. So I sent that to Mark, our attorney, to review for legality. And then the biggest kind of thing that the committee needs to get back to talking about are just the specific preference and discount programs that we are going to offer. So as you guys know, those things are outlined in the disposition policy, but there's some details that need to be fleshed out in terms of time periods for restrictive covenants and just exactly how those things work. I don't think they're incredibly difficult. We have good examples from other land banks that we can apply and play with based on what we think works best for Kingston. And hopefully our new ED will have some solid perspective on that as well. So,
Daniel, can I ask a question?
yes.
Did I miss the committee meeting? Like, when did this discussion about an application? I don't know anything about the application. So,
What I understand, yes, there was a meeting called and you were not there. I was kind of there. I was also not really there, but Daniel and I had a kind of a meeting offline, and this was like the thing that had to be done. So I just rolled up my sleeves and I did it.
so can you guys share it with me, please?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a draft. It's totally a drafty draft. It's got basically the bare bones are a combination of the Albany and Newburgh application process. But yeah, I'd be happy to share that with you. I will send it to you now.
Thank you.
I can also send the PDF version, which is just slightly different formatting, a little cleaner. That's what I sent.
That's right. Daniel's going to prepare the PDF version.
Yeah, and I can just send it to the full board if you guys want to all look at it. Cool. Aneshka, does that cover it? Alana, any additions? Okay, then we'll move on. Sorry, Windows. Oh my God, I skipped right over governance, didn't I? Sorry, Aneshka, governance.
Hey there. Okay, so basically a lot of the things that we talked about have already come to pass, like the new hires, et cetera, and how we were going to do that, and the interviews, et cetera. So we passed through all of that stuff. We talked about the kind of like, how do we address the failings of the board, and how do we put that, you know, in a kind of a framework. It was suggested that we all should at some point address the comments of a former board meeting and direct outreach to the Common Council, which Bartek already talked about in the communications meeting. So we should actually do that relatively quickly. The letter to the Common Council is a big thing to do hopefully by this month, right? So there was also discussion about how we would go about kind of things started to kind of blur between the acquisitions committee and the governance committee, because there is like blurred lines, of course. How do we go forward with all of these things in the appropriate sequence? And that's why I was asking for a sequence. Basically, we can't work on properties until we own them because of the liability issue with the insurance. And Daniel's already gone over the whole rehab versus stabilization issue, which is a big deal, right? This is not something small that we can just brush over. And we can't even really touch a house until we own it, right? So these are the kinds of things, like cart before the horse kind of things, that we talked about actually at length. We also talked about, of course, about what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is the hire of the new ED and interviewing the applicants, which there were 2, which we're going to be doing during executive session today. I think that's all, because the other things were literally things that we've already zoomed past. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Caitlin, do you have anything else governance wise? No, right? No. Okay. Oh, notes are in the governance folder.
Great, thank you. All right. Conflict of interest on unfinished business. I assume that's the conflict. Caitlin, take it away.
I had sent that out months ago. It was supposed to be in a long time ago, and only Aneshka has returned it to me. So you guys could do that. I would appreciate it. That's all I have to say.
Talk about things that have to be turned in. Self-assessments went out several months ago. No one's done them. And I think we are now way past that window. We should do them annually.
I think that's the same thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the self-assessment is a different thing. Self-assessment is, your work on the board and how you feel about it, blah, 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 all of that stuff. That whole big questionnaire that I sent out several times already. It's basically, how do you feel the board is doing? This is a time, self-assessments are mainly a time for, frank, open discussion of your involvement with the board, how you feel about your work with the board, do you want to continue, etc. So this is an important milestone that we should really pay attention to at the anniversary or the annual November meeting. That's when those self-assessments need to come in, and that's how we know whether or not someone wants to leave the board, or is there an open seat and all of that. That's why the timing of this was really important, but we haven't really followed timing very well so far. So things got very squishy, so I will send it out again and see if you guys do it now. The third time, maybe a charm. So other than that, I don't think I have anything further.
And Ashka, just to clarify, do we send that directly to you as governance chair?
Yes, I will probably, the governance committee is the only bunch of people, which is Steve, you, and me so far, unless we get some of our newbies to join. Yeah, it's usually the governance committee is the only committee that sees those. And unless it becomes a matter of that the entire board has to see these things, this is kept pretty confidential. That's how, at least how I understand how it works.
Aneshka, maybe we could have, this is Steve, could we have potentially Caitlin send that form out again along with the conflict of interest form to all of us, including the new board members, and we'll, try to set a date of, 2 weeks from now so that we can kind of get it all turned in at the same time.
Sounds like a great idea. Totally will do that.
So if everyone can have that submitted by May 11th, that would be great. Okay. We have, so our vice chair resigned in January and we have to replace. So there's only 2 of the old board members who aren't already officers, which is Alana and Aneshka. And then we have 3 new members. The vice chair doesn't really have, as long as the chair is around, more responsibilities than a typical board member, but obviously could be called to task in my absence. So is anybody interested in being vice chair? I guess is where we'll start. Anyone? So I don't.
Daniel,
I can do it. I could do it. Or Omari, if you were going to say you were, you should do it.
I don't want to do it. I'm just wondering, is there like a list of requirements for the vice chair? Like job responsibilities or something like that?
Well, so it's in the bylaws, like basically what the responsibilities are, which I don't know off the top of my head. We can also table this till the next meeting. I don't think it's a huge deal either way.
I'm happy to take it on if somebody needs to, because I have not been an officer at all. So, and have kept to my minimal committee participation. So.
Okay, I could be flubbing this process by Steve or Caitlin, feel free to step in, but can I move to?
Yeah, I can nominate Alana, and we just need a second. Yeah.
I'll second.
Great.
All in favor of Alana becoming board chair or vice chair?
No, not board.
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Great, Alana, thank you for your service and congratulations. All right, is there new business aside from our 3 new board members? Do you guys want to introduce yourselves quickly? I know most of us got to meet you over Zoom, but maybe Robert, do you want to?
Sure. My name is Bob Dennison. I've been living in Kingston about 35 years. I'm a retired civil engineer, and I'm on the Complete Streets Advisory Council and the Public Works Commission in the city as well. Kind of, instead of having a hobby, you can do stuff for the city. It'll be interesting to be here. It's an interesting, the concept of getting rid of zombie houses and increasing the housing stock it is very interesting to me, very important, I think. I've been a kind of an urban planner on the side of my engineering career for a long time, so this is going to be a very interesting adventure to be able to sculpt some of the city's future. How's that? Enough? I could go on for days, but
That was beautiful.
okay.
Karen, you're the next on my screen. You gotta unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Great. Oh, geez. So I have a feedback issue happening. I don't know if you can hear it on your end. I'm sorry. I'll be quick. I have a background in land conservation. I've been living in the city of Kingston for 5 years, and I'm very excited to be part of expanding opportunity for homeownership and stabilizing neighborhoods, and that's a good thing. Thank you. I'm gonna mute now.
Serena, all yours.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully there's no feedback. I'm almost a lifetime resident of Kingston, on and off, but I've been a few other places and worked with some affordable housing initiatives in much smaller towns than Kingston, but places with similar haves to have not ratios for affordable housing. So places with scarce housing that need to get really creative about their solutions to that problem. So I'm looking forward to helping combine what I know about Kingston, what I think Kingston needs based on my experience living here, and kind of maybe getting some fresh ideas for what we could do with the properties. And I really look forward to just engaging with the board and finding out about the processes that you've developed so far and helping to solidify those so this gets easier each time we do it and makes it sustainable moving forward to acquire more properties and shorten the timeline for getting them back onto the tax rolls. And the other work that I do in the community is with the Climate Smart Kingston Commission. And so I also think about how to do things with an eye to the environment and lowering our, I would say, impact and carbon footprint. So thank you for bringing me to the board.
Happy you're here. All right, so I think
Just a little FYI, Daniel, sorry for the interruption. I just copied the bylaws description of the vice chair, Ilana, also for your edification in the chat. Just, it's a very short paragraph, but just want to point out the fact that the vice chair is very important to back up the chair in case that the chair cannot fulfill his or her duties. So it's an important, it's like kind of like being a vice president. It's it's important because it gives us all peace of mind that the organization won't fall apart.
thank you for doing that. Okay, we have to go into executive session to discuss our new ED. If the new members wouldn't mind, maybe if you could email Kate, maybe just the whole board, which committees you might be interested in joining, then we can seat you next board meeting. Caitlin, does that work? Okay. So you can just refer to the agenda for the list of committees, and we'll try to give everyone what they want. Okay. So I need.
I'd like to make a motion
Thank you.
enter into executive session to discuss the hiring of an executive director for the Kingston City Monday. And I'd like to invite the 3 new unseated, but soon to be seated, I think the letters actually were mailed out today, board members, if the board is willing to invite them in.
Second,
Steve, can we invite staff as well or no?
You
what was
can,
that?
if you'd like to invite staff, that's up to you guys too.
I would like to invite Mandy Bruck, Caitlin Armstrong, and Bill Heyman to join us in executive session. Is that a new motion?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
So
it
I'll
is.
second
So
that
I'll
one as
second-
well.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Is there anyone that needs to be kicked off? Oh, Eliza, goodbye. I can't tell who some of these is on. I can see that.
Yes, Geneva, we need to leave. I believe that I still see her on here.
Yeah.
Bill's caller 2. I don't know who caller 3 and caller 4 are.
Oh, Shaniqua said thank you, bye all on the message. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
he's gone now.
So I'm assuming one caller is Michael, one caller is Bill.
No, Michael left.
Oh, Michael left. Okay. Sorry, everyone.
Karen, are you on 2? Are you on your phone and your computer? Okay, so you're one of the callers. Bill, can you hear me? I took you off mute.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Serena,
can hear you.
Okay.
I think
There's just one caller on here. I don't know who it is.
I think Serena is on the phone also, right, Serena? Yeah.
Oh, okay, then we're good.
Yep.
Then that's it.
Okay, welcome to executive session. Caitlin, do we stop filming?
This conference will now be recorded.
I'll give you a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody. Welcome our new board members. Thanks, everyone, for staying late, and I'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Bye, team.